we don't need roads.
Did I leave the stove on?
I didn't choose this counselor. This counselor chose me.
Okay, all good? Yeah. Alright. Welcome back to Movies Are the Future. A very special episode this time. A little bit of a companion piece to our last one that will be covering our favourite films of 2018, our least favourite films, and just a lot of the standout moments that happened in the cinematic world. If you haven't heard this piece of podcast material before, this is Movies Are the Future, a podcast that will attempt to prove that movies will be the saving grace of the human race. I didn't mean for that to rhyme, but it did, which is part of what this episode will be. Very relaxed. It's more of a kind of special episode where we're just going to sort of chat about our favourite moments from 2018.
Just a bit of a nerd out sort of.
Yeah, pretty much. We figured we couldn't fit it in a normal episode.
No.
So we just decided to sort of film a special one.
Yeah.
We'll probably do this every now and again for the big moments. We'll do one for Avengers Endgame.
Oh yeah.
We'll probably do one for like episode 9. A couple of like spoiler ones. Maybe like a TV one somewhere.
Might even rant about the Oscars in March.
Yeah, legit. If we can't fit that on an episode, we'll do that in a special format. So there you go. 2 pieces of content from us. But yes, if you haven't checked us out before, please check out the first episode, which should be linked right here or in the description. Or if you're listening to the audio, it'll be where you are listening to it on the audio, whether that be Spotify, iTunes, Podbean, Stitcher, TuneIn, all of your favorite podcasting services. Have a look for the first episode. It basically goes through what this is, what we're doing each month, and who we are and why we're doing this. But a little quick interlude, a little quick explanation if you don't have one, or you just wanted to listen to this one and not the first one. But basically, I'm Harry Sweby, the creator of the Slop Shack. This is
Declan Wilson, one of the co-creators of Movies of the Future.
And Dragon Saman, the other co-creator of Movies of the Future.
perfectly balanced. And basically, we've all teamed up, Movies of the Future and the Slop Shack, to put together a podcast that basically celebrates film, understands that it is the most popular art form for a reason, and basically just, we go through sort of the news. We try to focus in on, not on the blockbusters. We didn't want this to be another blockbuster appreciation podcast, but gets into the nitty gritty of the news, points out some things you might not have noticed, highlights some overlooked or underappreciated films, and just, we could just get to nerd out and talk about films as an outlet, because really this is just for us, to be honest, but hopefully you guys enjoy it as well. So thank you for joining us, and we're going to jump straight in. The best films of 2018.
Damn.
We might start with that, and then we'll go through the worst films and some of
Yeah.
just the awards and things later on. Honourable mentions, I guess. We'll start it off. Do we want to... I guess we'll start that way. We'll move it down.
Yep. So
how many... do we have, how many honourable mentions
I got
do we have?
5 on there.
5? Yeah.
I'm going 5.
Okay, 5.
Yeah.
I'll try and stick to 5 then.
So I'll just say all my 5.
Yeah. Take us through your 5 honourable mentions.
Okay.
Oh, and very quickly, keep in mind that we're recording this on the 2nd of January, so just after the first episode. We're wearing the same clothes, as you might have noticed. So we haven't had a chance to see everything yet. A lot of the films haven't been released theatrically, or it's just been tough to find. So if some things are missing in particular that you're like, why the hell have they not seen Roma yet, for instance? We just haven't had time to get around to
Pretty
it.
much, yeah.
Or The Favourite, or Blind Spotting, or Green Book.
Yeah. Green Book.
A lot of these movies would probably end up maybe in our honourable mentions, maybe even our top 10s, who knows. So we'll definitely let you know once we have seen them whether we like them, and maybe we'll do an updated top 10 list like 6 months into the year, like we finally caught up with everything. So yeah.
Starting
Honourable mentions. Dragon.
Honourable mentions. I got 5. So I got Love, Simon in there.
Nice. Yeah. Still haven't seen it, but I will.
Yeah, it came out early in the year, so most people probably forgot about it, but one worth mentioning.
Nice.
Crazy Rich Asians I got on there. I really like that movie. Searching.
The bit of a spoiler for my top 10, but yeah, love that movie.
Yeah,
That's in my top 10.
I got Sorry to Bother You in my
Yep.
top 10 honorables, and Black Klansman.
Very nice.
5
very
really
nice.
good movies that just missed the list.
Yeah.
Yeah, so similar to Dragons, I had Black Klansman and Searching in my honourable mentions, but I also had Isle of Dogs, Aquaman, and Upgrade. They just didn't make my top 10.
There you go.
Nice.
My honourable mentions, if we're going to try and go to 5, there's one that I want to get out of the way quickly because it's kind of disqualified.
Yeah.
Mentioned it in this camera. Mentioned it in the first episode of Movies Are the Future. But Under the Silver Lake technically was released in France and had a bit of a festival run this year, but then was delayed in the US, and its kind of major wide release was delayed to 2019. So for now, we'll keep it as a 2019 film, but I did watch it in 2018, and it was really good. Might not have cracked my top 10, but it was a really good film nonetheless. But it'll be a film that people disagree on, I think.
Alright.
So I'm keen for you guys to see it in particular.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll go see it when it comes out here. But the honourable mentions for me, I'm just gonna have to pick 5, I guess. 3 Identical Strangers. Was a documentary that came out. I can't remember when did 3 Identical Strangers come out? Around August, I think. Fascinating documentary. Definitely check that out. I don't know where you can watch it, but maybe you can buy it on iTunes. Definitely worth a rent at the least. It is basically covering this like set of triplets who were separated at birth as a part of like an experiment, basically, and they found each other accidentally when they were all in college, and then kind of started to work out why they would grow up as with totally different families, and it basically tackles nature versus nurture in a fascinating way.
All right.
So definitely recommend that. Also, Black Klansman, like you said. The Incredibles 2.
Ooh. Just didn't make the top 10.
Just didn't make the top 10. Mainly because I don't know. I feel like I haven't really seen it since it came out. Maybe if I watched it again, it would end up on there.
Yeah.
But just really good, really solid movie making. Brad Bird is just he just has a thing for kinetic, energetic action scenes. Like the ending of that movie with the boat and everything is just so good. Just bring this down a bit. Other than that, Annihilation.
I still haven't seen it.
Didn't make it.
Yeah.
Really, really good. It's just one of those movies that you just want to watch again and dig into and kind of unwrap some of the mystery behind it. Sorry to Bother You, which I haven't finished yet. Maybe if I'd finished, I got 20 minutes left on it. So maybe once I finish those 20 minutes, it was like my favorite film of the year. But for right now, it was probably sitting at like 11 or 12. And just really, I love those kinds of films. Very similar to Under the Silver Lake, actually. So I'm keen for people to see that. And First Man. I thought First Man was really, really good.
Yeah.
Nice.
So those would be my honourable mentions.
Right behind you.
First Man. Oh, thank God. It's been right behind me the whole time. Beautiful. Great soundtrack.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Mm.
Is First Man in any of our top?
It's in my top 10.
Okay, well we can talk about it then more.
Yeah.
Sweet. All right.
Sure.
So, do we want to talk about those honourable mentions? Any films that any films that weren't in your top 10s that are just honourable mentions that we want to talk about?
Upgrade. That was a real gem, I thought.
I hated Upgrade.
Really? I liked it less than him, but I enjoyed it. Yeah.
Yeah. See, it's been
What
interesting.
didn't you like about it?
Seeing people put Upgrade on their top 10s, I was genuinely surprised because I've seen a few lists where people have said it was really good, and especially after Venom came out, people being like, "Oh, you got to watch Upgrade. It's the better version of Venom." And to me, I would rather watch Venom than Upgrade.
Whoa.
No joke. I can understand why people liked Upgrade, but I just thought the lead actor was so uncharismatic and such a discount Tom Hardy that I just could not connect to him and any decisions that he made. He really frustrated me, and I just thought that it was just kind of lazy. Like it was just kind of this excuse for like cool shot action sequences. The one thing I will give credit for is that it looks like the budget was way more than it actually was. Like it was shot very, very economically. So well done for that. And it's an Australian film, so I have to give it props for that.
Yeah, Lee
but
Winnell. Yeah.
yeah, it just yeah.
Dang.
Scathing.
Yeah, but maybe I'll watch it again and appreciate it more. But why do you like it? Why is it on your
I just enjoyed it. I was just
yeah?
along for the ride.
Fun
I thought it was
movie.
good, and the ending I thought was really whoa.
It's really
cool.
ballsy.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it definitely it goes there. Yeah,
It
I
was,
guess.
and yeah, I just really liked it. It was cool.
Maybe I was in a bad mood that day. But I don't know. There you go.
And another one I went to Isle of Dogs.
Yeah, it didn't quite crack it, but like, I don't know. I love Wes. Maybe I'm just sick of Wes Anderson at the moment because I've done so many assessment pieces on him this year
Right.
that I'm just kind of like, I need to.
Because Dragon and I saw it, and
We had no intention. We were just like, "There's a session. You want to see it?"
and
he,
I
you
loved
loved it.
I was it was emotional. It was
Yeah.
it was unique, just the way it looked,
Dude,
and
the drums. That's what like stuck in my
Yeah.
head.
it was I just
Mm.
really liked it. If only I could have a top 11.
Yeah,
It'd be-
legit.
Yeah.
No, Isle of Dogs is fantastic, and stop motion. I'm amazed I don't have a stop motion movie on my list, but that would be the one out of all of them.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else? Black Klansman is fantastic. Is that on
Yeah.
anyone's
Yeah,
top
that
10?
was my honorable. I think it's on all of our honorables.
So it's not
Yeah.
top 10? Okay,
No.
sweet.
Yeah.
I loved it. I thought the ending was amazing. I actually got genuinely like angry and like teary at the same time
Yeah.
during that
Yeah.
like final montage. Bit of
Yeah.
a spoiler, I guess, but I'll try not to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or just
be
the
warned.
final sort of scenes of the actual film was just made
Oh,
you
yeah,
realize,
yeah, yeah.
wow, yeah, this is a
No, I agree. You're watching the whole time, just like, I can't believe this was real. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's just insane. But also a really funny movie.
Yeah. Unexpectedly funny.
Yeah, given the subject matter, and Adam Driver is amazing. I'll watch any movie that he's in. So,
Yeah.
he's fantastic. So yeah, Black Klansman was really good. Hope it gets some award appreciation
Recognition.
as well. Yeah. Because it seems like Sorry to Bother You, which is any top tens? No, so it's just honorable mentions. It seems like that movie should have gotten a lot of awards buzz, but it just hasn't. Like I
Yeah.
checked the Golden Globes, nothing.
A lot of people. It's a polarizing movie. Some people hate it.
Really?
Some people love it. Yeah.
I thought it was amazing.
I've seen so many comments. People like this movie was garbage, waste of
Wow.
time. But I mean, your opinion's your opinion. I love the movie.
Yeah.
So
keen
yeah.
for Declan to see it.
I'm keen. Yeah.
Get excited. It's really really good. Yeah, different but in a good way.
I don't know. For me, it felt like the essence of Get Out. For me, like that sort of style, things happening.
Yeah. To me, it reminded me a lot of Maniac. If you've seen the Netflix series Maniac,
I haven't seen it. No.
because it deals with kind of like an alternate universe, like alternate Earth sort of.
Yeah.
Oh, hang on. Alternate Earth sort of stuff, and but also with a lot of social commentary. But it never feels like it's trying to kind of hit you over the head with it. It just feels very baked into the natural progression of the
exactly.
story. So, really smart. All right. I guess we'll jump into the top tens then.
Yeah.
So,
Starting with Dragon.
Sure. Just name all of them from 10 to 1.
I reckon we'll just go one by one, and then if a film gets mentioned, then we'll skip that on the next way around.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
So I'll just say, so I just say my 10, and then
Yeah, just say 10, and then we'll go through. And then if we mention a film once, we'll just talk
Yeah.
about it at one
Okay.
point, and then
Yeah.
we'll go through.
all right,
everything
my
again.
10 is Bohemian Rhapsody.
Nice.
Yeah.
Why is it your 10?
Right.
Oh, wait. So did anyone else have Bohemian Rhapsody? What did you have it as?
number 4.
Number 4. There
Yeah.
you go. I didn't have it on
Yeah.
any of my
Yeah,
lists, but what did you guys enjoy?
I just thought it was, even though it was cliche and there's historical inaccuracies, it was just a fun time. It was fun. Rami Malek was fantastic.
Yep.
And there were a lot of scenes that just got you. Like Rami Malek really nailed the emotion, and just a lot of scenes where you just start to understand and you see so much going on, and that ending was the biggest like
Live Aid
payoff. Like that
performance,
was
yeah.
amazing.
It's just one of those movies that I just got so emotionally invested in those 2 hours. You were just engaged so much.
Yeah, I think I was more impressed about, well, two things. A, how much money it's made.
Yeah.
Which is definitely going to turn some studios' eyes when it comes to the biopic and things like that.
Yeah.
But the other thing was just how well it came together after Bryan Singer left,
Yeah.
and they brought on Dexter Fletcher to, I think it was only a little bit of shooting, but
Yeah.
mostly
Only a couple
editing.
weeks.
It
I think,
really
yeah.
felt like a Dexter Fletcher movie because I've seen Eddie the Eagle, and it's got the same
yeah.
vibes to it.
Okay,
So, yeah.
interesting.
It
'cause
felt
it's-
more like Fletcher's movie,
So it must have been
Ah.
must have done a bit of work in the editing process.
especially with how things looked
Yeah.
and the way that it's like transitioned.
True. I think that movie could have been very different in editing.
Yeah,
like
I'm the singer.
it's a very much like, especially when you're getting through the concert scenes and Live Aid, like maybe not Live Aid as much, but it's a very, there's a few montages, and I guess a lot of it comes down to how you would edit
Yeah.
that. I feel like they would have shot just a lot, so that's really interesting. Yeah, I think that just what didn't push it over the edge for me was just, I think it I don't know, it kind of, the Live Aid for me, and people will probably hate me for this, but I felt like the Live Aid kind of dragged. It just kept going. Like I was just like, all right,
I get what you mean.
I get it.
I
Like
get it.
we but you kind of went through like I don't know how many songs it was, but I feel like I was
Well,
like,
they cut
alright,
out. They cut out one
They
of the
cut out
songs.
2 songs.
two
Yeah.
songs. I was like,
Yeah.
they're gonna show the whole thing. Like they really genuinely did the
Yeah.
whole
I
thing. And,
wish they did.
and I did miss the first like 20 minutes, so maybe
movie.
like
Yeah.
I'm speaking out of place because I haven't felt the right pacing because I came in
Yeah.
right when they got the like US tour.
Oh
announced.
yeah.
I kind of missed some of the intro,
Yeah.
but yeah, it was a good movie though. Rami Malek definitely deserves
Yeah.
a nod there.
Yeah.
All right,
Is
and
it-
then what's your top
Mine-
number 10?
Number 10 is First Man.
Oh, there we go. That's the
So
first one.
yeah, I just
Dang.
it was. I have a feeling if I watched it again, it might be a little boring, or very slow. But I just got really, again, it's one of those movies I just got really emotionally invested in. Yeah, Neil Armstrong's journey from. Yeah, it was just really good,
Yeah, I agree.
and the score, like you said before, it's just amazing,
Mhm.
especially the landing sequence.
Especially, I wish I could have seen that in IMAX or just on a bigger screen because you just feel it. Like
Yeah.
it's just amazing how they shot that. Yeah, it's a very it puts you in that, and you really realize how flimsy everything is. You really do
Yeah.
feel like there's just these two guys in this like little tin can. It's just anything could go wrong at any
Yeah.
moment.
You just,
Like
you
it's
just see the enormous human cost and
Yeah.
financial cost and sacrifice to one of the greatest
'Cause
accomplishments.
it's just like, was it worth it? Like by the end of it, you're just thinking about that.
It's just, yeah, it was just so impressive, and I'm glad I know that story because I'm a big space fan. It made me want to go back and rewatch
Yeah.
like Gravity, Interstellar,
yeah,
The Right Stuff, The Martian, all of those classic, sort of not sci-fi but
Yes.
spacefaring films.
Yeah.
Yeah, because First Man is number 6 on my list.
There you go,
Yeah.
6.
I mean,
Yeah.
like, I know a lot of people
Wow.
like have sort of criticized Ryan Gosling, like sort of stoic in the movie, but I thought that made him more relatable to me. Like, just 'cause it's like once you've seen all of that, you just begin to shut people out. You're just like, why
Yeah.
bother showing anything?
It was a great portrayal of masculinity specifically in that era.
Yeah.
And he's such a great actor, and the stoicism and sort of subtlety, like that's his specialty.
Like when he breaks when he breaks the glass.
Yeah,
That was the
yeah.
first only sign of emotion, and I was like, yeah.
No, it's great. It's understated, and that's. I mean, you look at all his films through like sort of
Yeah.
Drive, and especially Blade Runner 2049. I think is his
Yeah.
most like so much going on, and yet he's saying
so little.
he keeps himself very sort of like poised the whole time. It's very very It's a great subtle but great, and Claire Foy was really good as well.
Yeah.
Probably her best movie of the year.
Yeah.
She did a lot.
Spiders. What
Well,
other movies
just
was
two,
she-
I guess.
Yeah.
The Crown and
Unsane.
was she in that? as
Yeah.
well?
Oh, that's right.
So she's doing quite. She's done
That's
well.
that's gonna be in my. Is it in my?
Dishonourables?
No, it just missed out actually, but it was pretty bad. Anyway, we're talking about good movies.
Yes, for now. So yeah, First Man, good stuff. And if anyone's had a look at the screenplay, which camera? This one. The screenplay is really cool. I haven't read all of it. I just read the first couple pages, but it's written like really well. It's just a well written screenplay, where it's almost just as fun reading it as it is watching it. So read the screenplay.
Yeah.
That's my turn, isn't
You're
it?
number 10.
All right. So before I jump into my number 10, I just wanted to do my number 11, which is not technically in my top 10, but it still deserves to be in the best films that came out in 2018. At least my favorite films of 2018, which was The Predator. And I know that no one is going to agree with me. Hopefully there is someone out there who appreciates The Predator as I do. But I'm a massive Shane Black fan, probably an apologist. I'm probably too much of a fan. But I went into that movie wanting exactly what I got. My expectations were met, and it was just such a fun ride. And there's so many good ideas, couple of bad ones. The ending the tease for the sequel is pretty bad, I'll admit. But I connected to those characters. The loonies are fantastic. And I appreciate what he was trying to do. And I think it doesn't deserve the hate that it gets. I think people drag it through the mud. They were like, this is one of the worst films ever. And they specifically bring up, like, when you boil down the plot, it's about, spoiler alert, predators trying to weaponize autism. Which when you say it in a sentence is like, well, what? But I really appreciated that
That's
movie.
one of the things I did like about it was that.
Yeah, I actually think that's fine. I don't see how that is
was
a
an
negative
interesting-
at all.
Yeah.
How they thought, spoilers, the Predator was going after Boyd Holbrook, but it was actually going
The
after
son,
Jacob
yeah.
Tremblay.
Yes. So I really like that movie. It's obviously not one of the best movies that came out this year.
But what it did for you was...
What it did for me, it deserved a spot up there. But my real number 10 is Bad Times at the El Royale.
Ooh.
I don't know how you guys feel about that. I don't know how you guys feel about that movie, so I'm keen to talk about it. But I really liked it.
Well, I mean, our expectations were so unbelievably high.
I don't know why. Dragon and I were just... I
Like,
think it's just the trailers. We just
the
loved...
songs, the editing.
Wow,
So,
yeah.
I obviously knew that I was always going to be disappointed.
Yeah.
Unless it just came out of nowhere. But
Fair enough.
I've seen it twice. First time I watched it, I liked it. But, obviously disappointment. But the second time, I found it a lot better. Because I sort of knew, all right, things aren't going as we thought they would go. They're going this way. But it just missed my honorables, but I still really liked the movie.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I'm exactly the same as Dragon.
There you go. I think I didn't watch any of the trailers.
Yeah.
I went into the movie literally not even knowing that like the hotel was in between two states. All I know is who was in it. It was directed by... is that... So this camera? All I know is it was directed by Drew Goddard, who I'm a big fan of. I keep seeing him get really big opportunities, and then
just missing it.
they get cancelled or something.
Yeah.
Like he
Sinister Six.
Yeah.
exactly Sinister Six.
X-Force.
Oh well,
Or maybe. It could
I
still
hope
happen.
so. But he keeps getting these big films and then not quite getting there. Like he had Daredevil. He created Daredevil, wrote the first 2 episodes. That was going to be huge for him.
Yeah.
And then he got offered Sinister Six, so he's like, all right, I'm
Yeah.
going to leave Daredevil to do Sinister Six. Ended up not being a great decision. He wrote The Martian, which was great.
Which is why he got to do Bad Times at the El Royale.
Yeah, and they gave him confidence. They were like, you know what, we'll trust you with this film.
Which is sad because El Royale was a
didn't
box
do
office
very well
flop.
at all. Yeah. But I've been waiting since Cabin in the Woods. I've been like trying to, get his. Wait, no. Yeah, it is Cabin in the Woods, right? And then he started on it was Cloverfield, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Way back. But then he obviously worked on Buffy and Lost and stuff before that. But yeah, I'm glad he got to do another film. So I went in, didn't care about the trailers, wanted to get surprised, and was just every minute was just something that was just really crazy reveal. So I think the experience of watching it without having seen the trailers is superior.
Yeah.
because I went back and watched the trailers and was like, this gives away so much. Like, I was really
yeah,
shocked.
because I think we thought there were going to be a lot more to it,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
we're like, okay,
like
moving
the
on.
windows and that all of the surveillance is in the trailer, and I was like, man, I'm so glad I didn't watch them.
Yeah.
Because I was watching it, I was like, whoa, so this is the movie. And then it keeps going, and then the third act is like a total left turn, which I guess some people didn't like, but
yeah.
I was down. I was down.
It's not that I didn't like it. It just felt like the pacing was just so off in the last section. Like the first
third
two acts
act,
were just like, all right, we're doing this, and then the last act was just kind of, whoa, so we're
Grinded
just
to-
stopping now.
Yeah, I understand. Maybe it hurts a bit more on a second viewing,
Probably.
because it's the pacing and the surprises are
Yeah.
what keep you going the first time. But I thought Chris Hemsworth's portrayal was of that sort of, I don't want to spoil anything because I feel like it's a movie I feel like it's a movie a lot of people go back to, so I won't spoil anything. But Chris Hemsworth's, he depicts a certain kind of person. I thought it's such an interesting choice of actor to play that, but it worked
Yeah.
perfectly. So yeah,
Yeah,
I really enjoyed that
moving
movie.
Yeah. Number 9. My number 9 is a recent one.
Mm-hmm.
Aquaman.
Wow, it made
I-
your top 10.
I really liked Aquaman. What it did to this character
Yeah.
was just so like what James Wan was able to do with this joke of a superhero, I guess.
Yeah.
It's just amazing. Like it's so visually stunning. Jason Momoa and Amber Heard really can carry this movie, I felt, and such a compelling antagonist. I don't want to say he's a villain, King Orm. He's an antagonist to me.
Nice,
And
nice. That's
it-
what they should be doing, yeah.
Yeah, and then it's just like I hadn't felt like that since Man of Steel, which is my favorite DC movie, like DCEU movie. So
Yeah, agreed.
the heights of Aquaman was just subverted all my expectations. It was just so good.
Wow. Well,
Yeah.
I have to see it. Declan, do you have Aquaman anywhere?
It
on
was
your-
in my honourable mentions. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Well, there you
Yeah,
go.
So
I'll have to
it was,
see
it
it.
was pretty
Yeah.
good.
Exciting. Especially for
Ah.
the Pitbull song.
No. My number 9 was Annihilation.
Nice.
It was
Yep.
just fascinating to watch.
Mm-hmm.
It's- Yeah, it's something completely different. Because I really liked Ex Machina, Alex Garland's previous film, and
Yeah.
so I just enjoyed Annihilation a lot.
That's really good. Yeah, definitely check it out. I think I remember the director being very frustrated that it went to Netflix in a way because
Yeah.
it deserves to be seen on a big
I was
screen.
really looking forward to seeing it in cinemas, and
Mm.
it was like, I was glad it was free to watch it
Same,
on Netflix,
yeah.
but it's like watching it, I'm like, damn, this
You're
would
just
have
like,
been
I would pay for that.
this would have been something nice to.
Yeah.
Same with just going off topic, Mowgli, Legend of the Jungle.
I'm kind of glad that went to Netflix though. To be honest, I think.
kind of, yeah. I don't
Just move the
know. it's just-
microphone up.
Yeah, it's such a unique sci-fi film, but yeah,
Yeah,
really liked it.
Mowgli, one of the most unique sci-fi films.
Annihilation.
Of the year. Nah, okay. Yeah, it was really, really, really good. And surprising, just totally, bizarre. Which I appreciated. I keep forgetting it's my turn, isn't it? Okay, so my number 9 is Ready Player One.
Ooh,
Damn.
Really love. Do you guys have Ready
That
Player
was
One?
on my
No.
list for so long.
it
Player
was.
One. I
Just-
think the reason why it dropped off your list might have been because it came out way earlier in the year.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
with a lot of things.
And like it's specifically like with Aquaman as well. It's like very recent
Yeah.
in your mind, makes it to the top 10, whereas Ready Player One kind of drops off. But yeah, I had a great time with that movie. I had issues with the writing of the book, but I loved the concept of it.
Yeah.
So I was really keen for the movie. I reckon the movie is way better than the book. I think it takes out all of the issues, not all of them, but it streamlines the book really well,
Yeah.
which doesn't often happen. And just made me fall in love with The Shining again, and I went back through all these things, and it's just a great movie. Just a great.
I'm
just
not
a fun
even a
time.
big video game guy, but what that movie was able to do, like I was so invested. I'm like, oh, this is awesome. It made me want to check out some more stuff. So
Mm-hmm. The Staying Alive dance sequence is probably one of my favorite
Oh.
moments of the year. Like,
I love the Shining sequence in it.
yeah, me too.
I haven't seen The Shining, so that caught me off guard.
Yeah, that would have been really weird.
That was, I wouldn't say scary. I'm gonna
You
say
were like
scary.
H in that scenario. Just
Yeah,
hates,
I was
hates
like,
horror movies.
yeah.
There you go. All right,
Your
Dragon.
number 8.
Number 8.
Number 8, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Boom. Hell yeah. That was my number. Well, what is
that
yours?
was my number
Declan?
7. So just
That was my number 2.
Damn,
Ooh.
number 2.
That was my number 2.
That
Yep.
Spider-Verse is such a different movie. It's probably
Mhm.
the most unique movie on this list for me.
Yeah.
Like, just because of the animation style was so different. It is, again, another Spider-Man movie, but it's based on Miles Morales, which is something we haven't gotten.
Yep.
And this movie just made me care about most people in the movie.
Yeah, no,
So,
it's like we were talking about in the first episode of Movies Are the Future. Go back and check it out. Yeah, it has a really distinctive voice to it. It's really meta, plays with the tropes, I
Yeah.
guess, but also does them really well. Like it tries to not do an origin story, but it also does a really good origin story at the same time.
Yeah.
It technically does like 7 or 8 origin stories in one movie
But
and
it
keeps
does
you
them
engaged.
so well, like, so
Yep.
unique.
Smart,
Yeah.
funny, and I think to me, what pushed it over just from my number 3, which we'll get to later, was the soundtrack. Because I love the soundtrack, been listening to it heaps, and I think that it's going to be a movie that I'm going to want to rewatch and will be able to rewatch very easily. Whereas the number 3 was a bit more of a like, it's more of a commitment when you watch it. So,
All right. Yeah.
great movie.
my number 8 was Incredibles 2.
Hell yeah.
I've only seen it once, which was in the cinema, and yeah, I thought it was just as good as the first one personally.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought the comedy landed, the action was intense, the story was generic, predictable, but it's fine.
Yep.
Yeah, I just did everything right for me. So
Yeah, I loved it. Bob Odenkirk was great.
It's number 5 on my list.
I reckon once I watch it again, it'll end up on my top 10. But alas, I wanted to talk about other films.
Yeah.
My number 8, right, is Searching.
Yeah.
Is it on either of your guys' top 10s? It's in someone's honorable
honorables.
mentions. Both honorables, right? Yeah, Searching really had a great emotional impact on me.
Yeah.
Like, I was, especially got to the end and I was like, whoa, I didn't think a movie that was, what do they call it? It's like screen life. I think
Yeah.
that's the genre or something.
like that.
Crazy. Like, so well done. And like, I think back on that movie and I almost picture it in my head because you have to imagine a lot outside of it because a lot of
Yeah.
it takes place on just computers and stuff. But like, I can see it in my head like a full movie, specifically like sequences playing out. And then I realized, no, wait, I was watching that through phones and a Mac and all of that. And it was just really smartly done. And I think what really lands is just the core mystery to it, and the twists were just really good. Like, just, it kept me on my toes. It was how I felt watching a season of American Vandal on Netflix, but condensed into like 90, or it might have been like
80, 90
110 minutes or something. Yeah.
Like that,
So just really, really, really good. Really
Nice.
love that movie.
Yeah. So my number 7 is A Quiet Place, and this was originally a lot higher, but because it came out in April, it dropped down. But I've only seen John Krasinski in The Office. I'm sure most people as well. Emily Blunt, I've seen in quite a few movies. I loved her in Edge of Tomorrow, but in A Quiet Place,
Full Metal Bitch.
Full Metal Bitch, yeah. But A Quiet Place was just so, and I don't like horror. I'm scared of horror. I'm not even gonna deny, but I was just so drawn to this movie because of what John Krasinski said. He said this is a family movie, like, not a family movie, but a movie about a family.
It's like Deadpool 2. It's a family movie. Yeah,
it's a movie about a family first and foremost, and they're just placed in this horrific environment, and that's what got me. And I just felt so much emotion for these characters. I was so gripped, and that start, like, you just did not want to make a sound. You were just like, oh my god. So yeah. Number 7.
What was it? What do you
it
think?
was my number 6, 5. My number 5, yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
I really liked it.
Yeah. Did you guys have any really loud people in your cinema when you were watching it? Like annoying people?
No, actually.
Because
Yeah.
did we see it together? No. Okay. Who did I see it with? Who? I can't remember. I think I might have seen it with like my dad. I think. And we went to see it, and yeah, there were there's this group of girls that were being like really loud during the trailers. So I was really worried that they were gonna be like really loud, and like there were only a few moments where like things would happen and there was just like massive squeals and like there'd be a bit of laughter, and I was like, no, like I just don't want to. But they were actually alright towards the end. They got that the theater was so quiet that if you made a single noise, like, you know, it was all over.
Everyone's gonna look at you.
Yeah. But yeah, it was really, really good. Not on my honorables or top 10, but
Yeah.
I appreciated it.
My number 7, is that what we're up to? Yeah.
Yeah.
Is Into the Spider-Verse.
Hell yeah.
We've already talked about it.
Mine's number 8, yeah.
Awesome. My number 7 is Deadpool 2.
Oh, really?
It's that
I noticed it
high.
wasn't on any of your guys'
I
honorables
like
or
it
list.
significantly more than you.
I think
probably.
so.
Wow,
Yeah.
there you go.
But it
I
didn't crack it.
did not like it. It was just
Didn't quite
forgettable.
make it. Yeah.
It was fine. It
Yeah.
was just Deadpool 1.
It's kind of dry. Like
You thought about this, and it kept moving down the list as during the year. And there was a point where I was like, why is it even on here? Like, I had to really think about it. And I was like, no, I remember initially being slightly disappointed, being like, it's not quite as good. But then later going through the spoiler cast, Empire Magazine, real quick. If anyone here is a fan of the Empire Magazine movie podcasts, you're doing well, but because it's great. But definitely check out the Empire does like spoiler specials with directors or writers or like Ryan Reynolds, like a producer actor for Deadpool 2, and they go through a lot. And going through that, you realize just the intent behind everything, and it was really smartly executed, and it was actually way better than I probably gave it credit for on the first viewing.
Yeah.
And going to watch it again, the jokes held up. They were even better the second time. The X-Force sequence when they jump out of the plane with Thunderstruck playing gets me so hype every time. And I think the soundtrack is fantastic. I've been listening to it all year. Like the not original songs, but like the throwback songs that they throw in. And so when I think about moments that I'll remember, that movie just has heaps.
Wow.
So I really loved it. And they also have like 3 different versions of it now. So
Yeah.
there you go. Dragon.
Number 6, what we talked about at First Man.
Yeah.
First Man, fantastic.
My number 6 was A Star Is Born.
Ooh, do I want to say where this is? All right, it's number 3 on my list. Star is Born.
Yeah. Yeah, it was, and it's another one of those movies for me where I just got so. The story was like cliche sort of, but you just get so emotionally invested in the characters, and and the music was fantastic.
Yeah.
I was so blown away by her.
I still haven't
she
seen
can
it.
carry her. What?
No, I know. I still haven't seen it. I think
Bro.
I don't know. It just kind of slipped through. I'm definitely gonna see it soon. It's a priority. But the script came out the other day, so I'm like, I wonder if I should just read the script. Probably not though, because it's like, but the song's all about the music though, so it'd be like really weird to do that.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah.
Might have ended up on my top 10. Who knows? Yeah. What's next?
Your number
You.
6.
Is it me? Number 6.
6.
No, 6. Number 6 is Vice.
Ooh.
So keen for Declan to see it.
Okay.
So
I'm
we
keen,
can even it out maybe, or
Yeah.
who knows where the vote will fall.
Okay.
But that was not good. Yeah, Vice. Loved it. We talked about it on the first episode of Movies Are the Future. But brief recap. I love the style. I love how meta it is. I think Adam McKay is a genius. I think that he knew that the main character in the film was not very charismatic, and so he had to find a way to keep the audience engaged and let you inside his head a little bit more, because he doesn't really emote very much. And he found a way to do it that was constantly surprising, very bizarre, definitely people are gonna love it or really just not like it. And yeah, it's a movie that I just want to rewatch, and I'm a massive fan of biopics that are shot very kinetically, like all Scorsese's movies, Wolf of Wall Street, Goodfellas, like The Big Short, like true life stories about like sort of like success, that are just like, you know, just propulsive, and they break the fourth wall, and they jump around in the timeline, and they play with the audience. So those are my favorites. So
I
really love
I mean,
it.
I respect the movie, but
I
for
respect
me,
the movie.
I do.
Yeah, no,
it's
so
not for me.
keen
I'm
to
gonna have to
Declan
rewatch
see
it again.
Yeah.
Number 5.
Number 5 is Incredibles 2, which we talked about.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nice. Number 5 for me was A Quiet Place. So
Nice, there you go.
love that.
Number 5 for me was Hereditary.
I still
I
haven't
really
seen
want to
it.
see it.
Both of you haven't seen it?
No,
Wow,
well, I
okay.
mean, you know, I don't
Um,
like horror, so
I reckon you guys watch it and we'll do like I don't know, something. We'll talk about it
Yeah,
in a
for
spoilery way.
sure.
It's tough to talk about without really spoiling it, but I thought that it was, every shot was so purposeful. It was executed so well. The cinematography is beautiful. It has a lot of surprises. The ending totally threw some people, and I understand why they thought it was pretty like bizarre.
Okay.
But I loved it. I saw it twice. It's still just, there's images in it, like we talked about Gerald's Game
Yeah.
on the last episode. Just images from that movie that I'll just never forget. Like, just like, but even the second time, you just, it's even better because you pick up on so much. It's a movie you got to kind of watch twice, but it's a movie you're going to find hard to watch twice because it's just so disturbing.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. So that would have been higher if not for these other films that we're going to talk about. So
Okay.
yeah, number 4.
Number 4 for me. Oh, I feel like it's gonna be high up on both your lists, possibly. Avengers: Infinity War. So just because it's number 4 doesn't mean it's really good. I really liked the movie. It's 10 years, like just all coming together, which is the Russo brothers did a fantastic job at handling this. But for me, just why it's a bit down is just because it just felt like a part 1 for me, at least.
Fair. Okay, I
It's
understand.
just,
Yeah.
I think it's obviously we know there's one coming out after this. It's not the
Wait,
end.
what?
But like, just because they released that lineup, and because we knew, even though it would
Yeah.
have been obvious,
Yeah.
but like still, it's that feeling of like, wait, that happened.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's just as a standalone movie, it works really well. But yeah, I love that movie so much. I think that I'm just gonna say it is my number 1 when I think about favorite movies of the year.
Okay.
Just because it's a movie that I'm just never gonna forget. It was such a moment in the theater.
Yeah.
I'll have to come back to it once an Endgame's out, so we can kind of, because they're kind of just one big movie,
Yeah.
it seems. Even though they're trying to say they are very different. Yeah, just amazing. No one's ever done something like that. There is no other film that has has attempted that, and for it to have come out so well is insane. So I wish it wasn't almost number 1, because I'm like, as a film fan, you kind of like, I want to have something a little bit different or controversial or something. But no, like, it just pound for pound, it just biggest movie of the year and just my favorite movie of the year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Done.
My number 4 was Bohemian Rhapsody, which we talked about before.
Yep.
Yeah.
My number 4 is Creed 2.
Nice.
Loved it. Probably teared up more times than I can count. The emotions just hit me so hard. Fantastic villains, fantastic character growth. I watched all of the Rocky movies in the lead up, so it just made every single scene just like,
Just hit more. Yeah.
the music's great. Even if it was predictable,
Yeah.
it did enough different. Given that they've done the same movie 8 times pretty much. It did enough different that it was still engaging.
And plus, it helps with a 3-year gap between the first one. It's like, all right, it still feels fresh enough.
Yep. So just a brilliant movie. Keen to watch it again.
Yeah.
What's your number 3?
Number 3, Star is Born, which we talked about.
Nice.
My number 3 was Mission Impossible Fallout.
Same. That's my number 3 as well.
I've talked a lot about how like movies emotionally impact me. This is not one that like the character. I didn't get emotionally impacted by the characters. It was just more a gripping sort of story. You're just
yeah.
So that's why other movies are.
I agree. It was my number 2 for so long, and then I bumped it down a little bit because I was like, as amazing as it is, I think
Yeah.
Spider-Man did sort of like more of an arc and more emotion better.
Yeah.
But yeah, just such a gripping movie, shot so well.
Yeah.
If you're out there, please listen to I think it's like there's like a 2-hour one and then like a 1-hour one, like a 40-minute one, I think. But it's a 3-part spoiler special with Chris McQuarrie, the director of Fallout, that Empire Magazine did, and it will take you through pretty much every single detail about the movie.
It's such a technical sort of masterpiece.
Yes,
yeah.
it's a
Perfect.
technically impressive movie.
Yeah.
Through the IMAX, the stunts, even the music, I've actually come to really appreciate.
Even the acting, like Henry
Yeah.
Cavill.
The acting, yeah, it's just really solid, and you'll realize that they basically started the movie with a script that was kind of done, and then finished the
Yeah.
movie with it completely different. Like they were writing as they were going, they were changing, they were adapting, and for it to
Yeah.
like as Ethan Hunt says in the movie, where it's like, I'm in a helicopter, what are you gonna do? He's like, I don't know, I'll figure it out. Like
Yeah.
that was the
Yeah.
movie. They was just figuring it out as they went, and for it to have turned out so well is so impressive. And the fact that nobody who worked on it is dead
Is
is just
amazing.
shocked. So yeah, great movie.
Specifically Tom
Yeah.
Cruise.
Specifically Tom Cruise.
What's
yes.
your number 3? Or was
Yeah,
that-
same.
Oh,
Mission
yeah.
Impossible Fallout.
Well, that works well into mine because Fallout is my number 2.
There you go.
Yeah.
Very easy. Yeah.
My number 2 was Creed 2.
There you
as
go.
well, which
Wow. I'm
Same.
glad that we all appreciated it, because I was worried I was
Yeah.
going to have to,
just
fight
loved
someone,
2.
literally. That's good to
Yeah.
hear. Yeah.
Your number 2.
My number 2 was Spider-Verse. So
Yeah.
already
my,
done.
my number 1.
Boom.
Dude, I flip between Fallout and this movie so much. Creed 2 is my
Mm.
favorite movie of this year. I
Wow.
loved it so much.
So much respect. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that movie.
Yeah. Going off what you said, Avengers Infinity War is my favorite
Yeah,
film of the
yeah.
year as well. Like, you want to pick something like Creed 2 or A Star Is Born or something.
Yeah.
But as he said, nothing like when I look back on 2018, it'll be like Avengers Infinity War.
Yeah, it's just amazing.
out of all those, it's the one if I had to pick a movie right now to watch, it'd be Avengers Infinity War. It's just the movie I love.
Yeah. It just sums up 2018 so well, and it's just amazing that there's another one next year. So
Yeah.
it's
maybe
crazy.
that'll be my favorite movie. Probably. I honestly, if Endgame isn't my favorite movie of 2019, then whatever is must have been incredible. Maybe
Yeah.
episode 9.
Like
Yeah.
Oh, actually, yeah, true. That I feel like those are gonna be like 1 and 2, but
yeah. But
we'll
then
see.
Yeah.
We're jumping ahead. That's a year.
Yeah.
So in 1 year we'll be doing
Tune in
that episode.
January 2020.
Oh yeah, exciting.
Now, should we move on to our
Yeah, very
worst
quickly we'll
films
jump
of the
through.
year? Should we just what were your dishonorable mentions,
Oh
Dragon?
God. Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom, Death Wish, Peppermint, Life of the Party, and Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald. Just,
Wow, really didn't like it.
just-
stinkers,
Just
but
like you, I had Fantastic Beasts, Crimes of
Yeah,
Grindelwald.
you gave it a D plus or something, didn't you?
Yeah, did not like it.
I didn't quite agree with a D plus. I think it's not terrible in that
I
sense,
just.
but
oh.
I can understand why you could sit there and be like, "Oh, I hate it." I actually really quite enjoyed it, even though I didn't understand what was going
it's
on.
kind of incompetent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In a way, it's like so much is happening, and it's like these. By the end of the movie, it's just these little lines that don't get tied up. It's
Yeah.
just there.
I've
well.
also in my list. I have a bunch of Netflix movies.
Oh, nice.
Netflix original movies. Well, not nice, really. for
Well,
Netflix.
okay. I mean, nice
Um,
that you took the time to watch them, even
So,
when you could have stopped at
in
any
my
point.
dishonorable mentions, I had Mile 22, Winchester, The Hurricane Heist, and Anon, this Netflix movie. It's like this sci-fi sort of futuristic world
Yeah.
with Clive Owen.
Yeah.
It was just, you just did not care about anything that was
There
happening.
you go. So you guys, I thought I saw a lot of movies this year, but you guys have seen so many movies, so which is why I don't really have a worst list. Like I
Yeah.
seem to avoid most of the movies that I.
Do you have a worst movie of
Do
the
you
year?
want to see? The thing that I enjoyed the least, And it's not a terrible movie.
But-
Like, I'll give it some merit, but the worst experience I had in a cinema this year was A Wrinkle in Time.
Ooh,
Oh.
yes.
That movie
That-
was just not for me.
That was
man.
I just didn't connect anything. There was no real story. There was no development. It
giant
was just
Oprah.
annoying and I just
It
didn't
was,
enjoy it.
It was my number 4
It's
worst.
my number
Yeah,
4.
I-
1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, number 4.
I
Yeah, I think we
appreciate
have the same.
We have the same.
that
the
they
exact same top 4.
like I appreciated hiring Ava DuVernay,
Yeah.
what they were trying to do with the diversity in the cast. This the notion, the idea behind the film just was executed terribly,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
It was awful.
I did.
Yeah.
Should I just go through 10 to 1?
10-1.
So number 10 was Mute, another Netflix movie. Number
Yeah,
9,
which is disappointing because of
Duncan
Miriam,
Jones. Yeah. Number 9 was the
who is David Bowie's son, if people didn't know.
Number 9 was the Nutcracker. Number
You guys,
man.
man, did you see more good films and bad films
Oh,
this year?
yeah.
Do you think?
Yeah.
Okay, thank God, because I was like, man,
number
Rough.
8 was another Netflix movie, How It Ends, with
Okay.
Forrest Whitaker and Theo James.
okay.
It started off okay, and then
Just dropped off.
the ending probably is one of the things that pissed me off. Was one of the most frustrating things I've seen this year was the ending. It was like
There you
it's
go.
just like anyway. Number 7 was Pacific Rim Uprising. Number 6 was The Outsider, a Netflix movie starring
Yeah,
Jared Leto.
Leto.
That was a dud.
Was that the Japanese?
Yeah.
Yakuza? Yeah.
Sounded-
Number
sounded
5
pretty
was
rough.
The Open House, another Netflix movie
I've
with
heard that's awful.
Dylan Minnette, the 13 Reasons Why star.
Right.
It had another terrible ending. Number 4, A Wrinkle in Time. Number 3, Slender Man. That was awful. Number 2, The Happy Time Murders, which was
Garbage.
my worst film of the year for ages until I had the pleasure of watching 50 Shades Freed recently, which I
Just-
couldn't even finish. So
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well
Well,
done.
my 4, 3, 2, 1 are exactly the same as his. So my number 10 is Breaking In, starring Gabriel Union. It's just it's like a home invasion movie.
Yeah, haven't even heard of it. Yeah.
Where home invasion, the protagonist gets locked out of the house and she has to break back in. It's like a nice
That's it.
nice little twist, but
Oh,
it's
okay.
just boring. Nothing happens in the movie.
No, there you go.
Number 9, Rampage. The
Yep.
Rock. God. Like, I understand it's silly. It's not trying to be anything else, but it was actually boring.
Yeah.
Like, watching these giant buildings just bored me.
I loved it.
Number 8,
Fair enough.
Pacific Rim Uprising.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
Failure. Num-
Just complete and utter garbage.
Number 7, Hunter Killer. I'm sorry, Gerard Butler.
Love that movie too.
But it's just stupid. Number 6, The Nutcracker.
It's just, and
It's just-
Keira Knightley was just.
Oh, there were so many innuendos in that movie. That was so funny.
Oh, there you
But
go.
it just tried too hard to be that one of the classics. It's just a
Okay.
replayed formula, which can work, but because
Yeah,
we've gotten it
yeah.
so many times, it doesn't work. Number 5, Escape Plan 2, Hades.
Yeah.
Stallone is in that movie
Wow.
for like 15 minutes.
They shot that in the third one, like at the same time,
Yeah.
didn't they? So there's still another one to go.
Like when you look at the poster,
It's
Stallone
Bautista, right? In
and
that one?
Batista. Batista appears for like 5 minutes.
Oh, really? I think he's
Yeah.
like on the poster though.
I know.
Like,
The
him
main
and
character
Stallone.
is one of Stallone's proteges.
okay.
Yeah. Number
Weird.
4, A Wrinkle in
Wrinkle in
Time.
Times.
3, Slender Man. 2, Happy Time Murders. And 1, 50 Shades Freed, which I sat all the way through.
Didn't
Ooh.
even remember it was from this year. So.
That was a garbage movie.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, tops to you for sitting through the whole way. You got to close out one of the worst.
It was
trilogies
hard.
of
It was
all
hard.
time.
No pun intended.
Are there any terrible? Are there any? You were like strapped into the seat. You couldn't move. You were chained as it was whipping you with cinematic hate.
There's an iconic ice cream scene in it.
Oh, I didn't even know that. But
There's ice cream, and people eat off of that table.
nice.
So
Well, now I'll have to watch it.
So your top 10.
Well, I was
one.
just gonna ask: are there any terrible films that you would actually recommend that people watch just because they're so bad, like
Oh.
Geostorm last year?
I actually didn't mind Geostorm.
Recommend.
Oh, you actually like Geostorm?
I didn't like it.
Oh,
Let me
I-
clarify that.
But it
It's
was
It's a
bad.
bad movie.
Yeah,
hated
but that's what I
Geostorm.
mean.
I can
It's
put up
like-
with a lot of Gerard Butler bad movies, but that was bad.
What about Gods of Egypt?
That was pure entertainment.
Oh,
That was-
okay,
that
there
was-
you go.
That was amazing.
They're all ending up on Netflix, so I'll have to watch it.
Bad
But
But
movies.
yeah, any terrible ones that you would actually recommend, or were they all just really rough?
recommend to just to see how bad they were.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't
Pacific
know.
Rim Uprising's bad, but it's not painful to watch.
It's like it's just John Boyega talking about how hot he is.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
If not,
No, they're
That's
all
right.
You should do
terrible.
yourself a solid and see Slender Man.
I
That
think
is a
Holmes
funny
and
movie.
Watson might be.
I wanna see.
It's
I
like
wanna
it's
see
so
it.
terrible. Oh, hang on. There you go. It's so bad that you kind of just have to witness it to
want-
see.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
See,
we'll
I
see.
actually liked the trailers for that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
laughed.
thought I laughed in the trailers more than I laughed in a bunch of comedy movies this year.
We'll
so-
see. We'll
Yeah.
see. I have a bunch of like awards that I gave to specific movies that didn't quite make it onto honorable mentions, right?
Yeah.
But, so I can go through those, and if you guys have films that you think would fit any of those awards, then you can do yours as well.
Yep.
So I have a great premise but poor execution. For me, was Halloween.
Oh,
It was a great idea to reboot the franchise,
Okay.
cut through the continuity, deliver something really awesome that would end the franchise, finally give us the resolution that we wanted. But no, they just opened it up for sequels, and yeah, I was that was a very frustrating experience, Halloween. And maybe if I'd gone into it knowing there was a sequel, I might have been less
Yeah.
angry at the ending.
Oh,
But
right, yeah.
there you go. Then strangest performance of the year for me was Tom Hardy in Venom. It's just like, what was that? But
It is what it is.
it's the best part of the movie. The most what the fuck movie of the year is Mandy.
I haven't
honestly,
seen
that.
that.
It's really good. I just don't think I could ever watch it again. The first half is very, very, very slow. I'd
heard.
probably love to watch the second half again,
Yeah.
but the first half is so slow and strange and unsettling that I just don't want to watch that again. But the second half is like awesome.
All right.
And the scene that I tell everyone and that gets them to see it and got all of Ava's family to see it is that there is a scene where Nicolas Cage arrives kind of at like the evil, cult leader's lair, and he kills one of the guards and he grabs his chainsaw, and then he starts walking and he sees another guy in the distance, and the security guard turns around and spots Nicolas Cage, and then proceeds to pull out a chainsaw that's twice as long, and they have a chainsaw sword battle.
Now I want
I
to
think
see
you
it.
sold me.
So it's not really a spoiler because I use that scene as the thing that will immediately get everyone
Yeah.
to watch it. So if you haven't seen Mandy and you love chainsaw,
Battles.
ultimate, just the most metal movie, literally with metal and chainsaws, but metal as in just metal. It's a what the fuck movie. My favorite scene of 2018 was the snap,
Oh.
just that
okay.
whole scene. Technically, not really a scene, but a sequence.
Yeah.
Amazing. Either that or I also love the bit where Thanos does something with his daughter. But why am I? It's everybody
Do you remember
knows.
the fade?
Okay, that sounded really wrong. Where Thanos kills his daughter. I'm sorry.
The fade. I can't get over that. There was a weird cut fade during that scene.
Oh, really? There's a fade?
Yeah, you know what
When
I'm talking
she's
about. When she's falling, and then,
it
just
cuts to like her going,
fades his face.
"Oh," and then it fades to his face again.
Yeah, I don't know. For
Dragon
me,
hates it. I don't
I don't
mind
know,
it.
for me, it's just jarring. It's like.
I can picture what you're saying, and
Yeah.
I actually don't mind it.
Yeah,
But
it's
that
just me.
seems great.
Yeah.
A lot of scenes. Probably all my favorite scenes of the year would be from that movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
Or Creed 2's boxing match.
Oh.
yeah, when they come out and she's singing
Not even that.
and
The
all
tra-
that.
not even that. The training montage.
Oh yeah.
Dude,
Yeah,
hold on,
true.
I don't know if it was me, but did you notice like the song like during the training montage went to speaker to speaker to speaker?
No, I didn't
That-
notice that.
In the
Oh.
theater.
Yeah, in the theater. Oh,
Oh,
my
yeah.
god.
Otherwise, the bit where Miles, I guess
Oh.
it's kind of a spoiler, but I'll just say the "What's Up Danger" scene in the middle of, towards the end, I guess, of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
Involving a building, but it's in the trailer,
Yeah.
so it's not really a spoiler. But
One of my favorite
That's
scenes
great.
is it's in Aquaman.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
is it a spoiler?
It not really a spoiler.
Then go ahead.
It's the kissing scene.
There's a kissing scene
It's
in Aquaman.
visually like just beautiful. It's like a 360 sort
Oh,
of
nice.
thing. Oh, It's just amazing.
Declan's like, what the fuck? What are you
I
doing
love that scene. It's
Oh, there you go. Well,
yeah.
I'll look out for it. Aquaman kisses a
singing
whale.
Africa.
I can't remember it.
That's all good.
Oh, it's so
I have
beautiful.
another favourite moment from Aquaman,
Yeah.
but it's like right at the end, so I won't say. It's just,
Any
it's
favorite?
just a,
I think I know what you're
just
talking
a perfect ending to the movie. I'm
Oh,
like,
there you go.
about. Yeah.
Cool. All right. So the next award is I should have been ready. Favorite soundtrack of the year, Deadpool 2, as I talked about earlier. My favorite score currently. Oh, that's really tough. I had Mission Impossible Fallout because I really did enjoy it, but I don't know. Spider-Verse is creeping up there. Infinity War was really
First
good.
Man.
First Man. Okay. Yeah, First Man.
A Star is
Um,
Born.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, true.
More of a soundtrack.
Most perfectly stupid movie of the year was The Meg.
It's weird. It's like, you make a top 10 list.
Yeah.
And
Can I put The Meg
You pick
in?
all the good
Yeah.
films in there, but it's like, if I had to pick like my like if I'm going to go back and watch movies from 2018, it'll be Avengers, Creed, Mission Impossible, Bohemian Rhapsody, A Quiet Place, and like The Meg.
Yeah.
Because
It's the same with
I just enjoy all those movies the most.
it's the same with The Predator. It's like it doesn't really deserve to be on a top 10 list, but it was just
But
so
I
much fun.
personally just loved it so much. It's
Yeah.
like,
To me, it struck this weird point between being serious and yet also making fun of itself to the
Yeah.
point where I was like,
I thought
eh.
it balanced it nicely. Like some
Yeah.
movies, people are like, I wish it just took itself silly the whole time. I'm like, personally, I just think The Meg just got
Yeah.
it right.
Yeah.
I see some people saying like they tried to have the best of both worlds and it doesn't quite work. I get that, but I think it tries to have the best of both worlds and kind of does.
Yeah.
I just hope in the sequel that because it made so much goddamn money, that they lean a little bit more like goofy.
Same, yeah.
So yeah, and then just a random shout out to like a random small film I saw. I saw this. We went to a French film festival and we saw a film called Ava. It was actually pretty good.
I went to a film festival, saw a film called Put Nonna in the Freezer. It was quite good.
There you go. Yeah. And I saw a bunch of short films at different ones, but maybe we'll do that as a topic. We'll do like best random, or I'll do a shout out for underrated movie of the month or
Yeah.
whatever. What it's called? You need to watch this.
Yeah, watch this.
Graphic.
I think Dragon has a very special guilty pleasure movie he liked.
God.
What is it?
This is very controversial.
Yes.
Universally panned.
Oh, okay. Perfect.
I loved Robin Hood.
Whoa! Wow!
I
Didn't
know,
expect that.
I really enjoyed it. The trailers look like garbage. And granted, the movie, isn't good.
Yeah.
But my God, I had such a
Wow.
fun time
There
in
you
this
go.
movie.
Good
it,
stuff.
It was like everything that I've seen before, just with Eggsy from Kingsman and Jamie Foxx.
Not bad.
Yeah.
It was kind of one of those movies where I was like, I reckon I could probably enjoy it, and I love Ben Mendelsohn like a
Yeah.
lot. Probably one of my top 5 actors.
Because of Bloodline, or
No, because of Rogue One, because of Ready Player One,
Yeah.
the 2 ones. And he's just such a. You listen to his interviews like on Sway in the Morning. He's just such a like gangster, this Australian
Pretty much,
gangster.
yeah.
He's just such a cool dude. And also because of Cosy, he was in Cosy like way back in the day,
Oh,
in the 90s.
yeah.
So there you go.
Robin Hood. Just
Robin Hood.
just
You
a
gonna buy
fun
it?
time. Probably.
Wow.
I enjoyed it.
Maybe I'll watch it with you. We'll see what
Oh
happens.
yeah.
So there you go. Any other films we wanted to shout out?
I think
Oh, that great premise.
Bad
Bad execution.
Mhm.
Skyscraper.
Yeah, true.
I was so disappointed
Yeah,
with that
agreed.
movie.
To me, that movie felt exactly like write an action movie 101. Like it was like
Yeah.
a student.
It's a
like,
template.
here's an assessment. Yes, straight off of a
Yeah.
template of like tick, 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 tick. There you go.
Yeah.
Let's make it.
yeah, it was
Exactly.
just so. It wasn't awful. It was just so.
It was just because we've seen so many other things that are like this but better.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then for me, good premise, bad execution, mile 22. Because
Yeah, there you go.
you could see it was just meant to be like a 1 hour to 90-minute just action movie.
Mm.
And it was just awful. Mark Wahlberg's acting, the
Yeah.
characters were so unlikable. The direct and the editing, it was just awful.
When you
Yeah.
have one of the best martial artists in the world, why
From
would you
the
go
raid.
to quick
Yeah.
cuts?
It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
All right, sweet. So after some technical difficulties involving the same mic from before going dead,
Did I? Oh.
did you have something else?
Do you want to wrap this up or?
Oh yeah. What else?
Oh,
We're all good.
1517 to Paris.
Oh, good or bad?
Bad. Just boring. Like, you
Yeah.
know when you have like a situation and then you sort of cut back to the backstories and it's kind of interesting. This movie did it really poorly, and they made the mistake of. Do you know about the incident?
Kind of.
Yeah.
But
So it's these 3 guys who just basically take down the
Saved, yeah.
terrorists on the train. They cast those 3 guys.
oh yeah, I knew
in
that.
the
Yeah.
movie, and
Bad
I'm like,
idea. Yeah, it was interesting.
Not as bad as I thought, but could have been better.
There you go.
And that's it.
Well, there you go. 2018 overall, pretty good year, I'd say, for movies. I
Yeah.
think we had a really good time. 2019 though is stacked as well, so it's gonna be interesting to see what ends up on our top 10 lists next year. Hopefully, if you didn't know about some of these films, you go back and check them out. If you disagree with us, let us know. If you agree with us, we like the validation to be
Yeah.
nice. So jump into the comments and let us know what you liked, what your top 10 movies of the year were. If you have any special awards, top 10 worst, whatever they are. And if there's something that you guys really disagree with, then I don't know, email us and
Let us know.
we'll talk about it on the podcast. So yeah, 2018 was really good. All right, so thank you for checking out Movies Are the Future, this little special episode here. We'll be back in 2 weeks or so, I guess, on the 4th of February for the second episode of the show. So get excited for that. Go back to the first episode if you haven't already seen it. Check it out. You can listen to us on Podbean, which is where we host all of our audio episodes, but they're also available on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn, all of those places. And of course, if you're on YouTube, give us a like, subscribe to the channel, and recommend it to your friends if you're enjoying it. So thank you very much for joining us. Declan, Dragon, thank you very much. Check out Movies of the Future to stay up to date with all your news and reviews, and it's just a lot of fun. Will you guys be posting your top 10 movies on there with this? Or?
Once this episode's been released.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sweet. All right. So thank you guys very much. Head over to theslopshack.com to stay up to date with the release schedule for the podcast. And very special thanks to our producer in the back there, Ava Benzile, holding this camera right now. Hopefully it's zoomed in all the way. So thank you very much. Have a very happy new year. And welcome to 2019. Do we have a... Oh, wait. We got to do the thing. Do we still do the thing?
Do we do it on the special one?
Yeah, sure. Let's do it.
I've got no drink left, but...
Well, there you go. Well, until next time.
I don't know about you, but I'm thirsty as fuck.